Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another 2-Minute Tuesday. Today, we're going to be talking about beautifying Dynamics 365 and kind of one of my pet peeves. And let me show you what I mean by this. If I navigate, for example, to the account entity, and you can see this is the out-of-the-box active accounts view. You want to spend a lot of time coming up with views that are, important to the users, views that include the information they need at a glance, and they can essentially leverage the information they have. The problem is that out-of-the-box views in Dynamics 365 are configured differently. They have different formats. And let me show you what I mean. So, for example, if I search for AdventureWorks, okay, or for Adventure, notice that the view that I get as the result, which is the quick find view, has different columns. This one shows relationship type, for example, and it shows who the primary contact is, something that perhaps I'm not even sure if I'm showing on their active accounts. Let's go into active accounts again and see. Okay, so I do show the primary contact, but I don't have the relationship type, and I also have the city, but not the state. So I really want to make sure that as I navigate from view to view, the system feels like a unit, right? That there's no difference on the information that you have. I want all my views to be the same, essentially. So that's the topic of today's tip. So let's start the countdown and let's go. So what I want to do in Dynamics 365 is I want to go to the quick find view and I want to configure it how I want all of my other views to look like. So I want to spend some time in quick find and add the columns that I need. So let me go back to a search and notice that in here I have my state and province. I have the main phone, primary contact, and the email for the primary contact. I also have the relationship type, which is important to me, and I want all of my views to look like this one. So again, spend some time working on the quick find view, add all of the columns that you need, because that's going to be your template. Next, you're going to open the XRM toolbox and search for the view layout replicator tool. So find that tool inside your XRM toolbox. We're going to go ahead and load the entities in here, and we're going to select the account entity, which is the one that we're using for this example, but obviously this works for any entity, even custom ones. And then I'm going to select my template, my source, which in this case will be the quick find active accounts view. So notice that when I'm looking at, I'm going to move it up so you can see the views right below. Notice that I get a format, right? It tells me what the layout is. So it says, here are the columns that you have. This is the width on those columns based on pixels. So I can do like kind of a double check to make sure this is the view that I want. And if this is not what I want, then I want to go and, fix that in Dynamics 365 before I try to replicate it. Next, I'm going to select the views that I want to replicate this format to. And notice that I get a list of all my system views, but also user views. I can replicate this layout to user views or personal views as well. So in this case, just to make it simple, I'm just going to select active accounts just so we can see the effect really quick. But obviously, you can apply this to multiple views at the same time just by clicking on the checkbox. I'm going to go ahead and click on Save Views, and then I'm going to publish the entity. Now, obviously, you notice when I clicked on Save View, the process was super fast, and that's because I selected only one view. It will take a little bit longer if you're trying to replicate to multiple views, but once again, this was a quick example. So let's go back to Accounts, and now you notice that my Active Accounts view shows the account number, the relationship type, the city and state, main phone, primary contact, and so on. So what's the point behind this? Then now when I search for Adventure, so let's just do that again. See how the view doesn't change. It sort of refreshes the results. So I click on Exit to go back to Active Accounts, and notice that all I get is a refresh on the results because the views are identical. So I hope you enjoy today's tip, and we'll see you next week.